Hello, BookTube. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it is halfway through March. Is that what they call the Ides of March? I was just hearing that yesterday a couple of times, and the librarian told me that it actually means in the middle. So it is now the middle of March, and we're halfway through March Mystery Madness, and I feel like I've been in a reading frenzy ever since March 1st, for one reason or another. The first week of March, I had to try and finish all the Sunshine State books. I still didn't get one of them done, but I decided to put it on hold until early April, and I'll finish it up and then do a wrap-up of all of those books. Then this past week, in fact, yesterday was the last day of our library, a local library winter bingo challenge. And so we had a bingo card with 25 slots. Of course, you get the free space in the middle. But you had to read 24 books to fill the card, or you just, for every bingo you had up to 5, you could get an entry into a drawing. And they're giving away 2 Kindles and one $50 gift card to a restaurant. So I really wanted to get my card filled, and going into the week, I still had 5 or 6, I think, left to go. I think that everything I read this week counted for the challenge. And so I didn't get everything read that I originally had said I was going to for the challenge, but I shifted things around and got done what I could get done, and I did read something for each challenge. So they're going to do the drawing, I think they said on the 20th or 21st. So I will wait, and on that day, or as soon as I find out if I won anything, then I'll do a wrap up of the whole bingo and tell you what I read for each challenge and let you know if I won anything. And I have ordered from the library all of the books back that I had already turned in, because it went from January 10th to March 15th. So I could count books from as early as January that counted towards the challenge. So anyway, I got it done, and even if I don't win, it's still just fun to do. And I don't need another Kindle, but if I get a Kindle in this one, then I'll give it to my husband, because he worked really hard on the challenge that they did, not this past summer, but the one before that, and I won a Kindle and he didn't. So if I get one, then it'll go to him. Okay, so I finished 6 titles, and I say titles because a couple of them were shorter stories, and they all fit into one book, although I think they have been published separately. I did read the first 2 in the Sherlock Holmes series by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is my daughter's copy of Volume 1, and so I read A Study in Scarlet and The Sign of 4. I didn't really understand The Sign of 4. I started going back through it again just to try to pick up some of the details. I kind of understood what was happening, but I'm probably going to have to just read it. Although, I don't know if, has there been a Sherlock episode of that story? If so, maybe I'll just watch it, and that'll make it kind of come a little more clear. Because I have seen the episode of A Study in Scarlet, and I thought it was really close as far as just, what they did and everything. As much as I can remember, because I hadn't read it at the time that I watched it. Now I need to go back and watch it again. Anyway, so this counts as my historical for March Mystery Madness, and I made both of them count for bingo challenges. One of them was to read a book set that was written in the 19th century, and then one was to read a book with a color in the title. And I had said I was going to read Gunpowder Green, which I still am, for March Mystery Madness, but I knew, since I'm reading this in print, I knew I couldn't get it done. And so Study in Scarlet I counted for a book with a color in the title. So that was exciting to get that done. Then this one I read, I'm going to listen to it on audio. I had absolutely no interest in this whatsoever. And I hear a lot of my BookTube friends have read this and loved it, and that's fine. But you guys will know, those of y'all who've watched me for a while, when I show you this book, you're going to go, oh, yeah, why did you even read that? It's because I needed to read something futuristic, and it was March, and I had to read a mystery, so this is what I read. Naked in Death by J.D. Robb. Yeah, it was way too graphic for me, too explicit, and just messed up. Oh my goodness, the characters and the situations in this book are just, ugh. Anyway, I did figure out the mystery, though. I was kind of proud of myself, because I figured out pretty early on, I guessed it, who the main perpetrator was. And if y'all have read it, you know how she kind of is leading you one way, and it started looking like I was going to be wrong, but I still kind of thought, I looked at the time and I thought, no, there's still some time left. I still think I'm right, and I was. So that was kind of exciting. I think it's kind of fun when you can figure it out, especially if, you know, if it's well written and everything. I had never read Nora Roberts until this point, and I don't think I'm going to read any more in this series. Although I did hear Louise from the Big Haired Bookworm say that the first one or two books, she used the word saucy, that they are a little more saucy than, you know, later on in the series. And if that's the case, if they're not as graphic, then, you know, I might, but I don't think so. I have so many books that I really want to read. A lot of Christian fiction, which is the polar opposite from this, that, you know, I doubt I'll read any more of this. But it fit the challenge, and it's a mystery, so. Okay, now here's another one that's also a little bit saucy, but I did enjoy this one. This is Death in Daytime by Eileen Davidson. Now the reason I say saucy, there was a little more swearing in this one than you find in a, you know, typical average cozy mystery, but it just flowed so well. I had fun with it. I used to be a big soap opera fan. I have watched Eileen Davidson on The Young and the Restless, and I watched all the CBS soaps when I was younger and growing up and all that. I had to kind of wean myself off of them, or I'd probably still be, you know, I wouldn't be reading. I'd be watching soaps all day. But it was just a lot of fun, and I felt like it was almost her own voice, because it's about a soap opera actress, a veteran soap opera actress, and you just really feel like you are looking into the world of, you know, behind the scenes at a soap opera. So I just thought it was a lot of fun, and I loved that the chapters were short. It just made it flow so fast. I read the majority of this in one day, and that really doesn't happen for me with print books. I don't read fast. The reason I get through so many books is because of audio. And so just the other day, I found the second book. Now, this is a library copy, but I found the second book in the series at a thrift store. So I snatched it up. I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely got to read that. I think there's only 4 in the series, and I don't know if she's going to write any more, because the last one came out, I think, around 2011. Hang on just a second. Let me see what Emily needs. She was fine. And thank you all, those of you who have commented from my last week's video about, you know, all the well wishes and prayers and things like that. I appreciate it so much. She's doing fine. We have to go out in a couple of days, I think, go back to the hospital to get the staples taken out of her head. And she's still having seizures. We're just praying that if we keep on inching up her VNS implant, which she just got in December, that eventually we'll have strong enough power in that to block the seizures. So, you know, appreciate your prayers in that. Okay, so, what else did I finish? Okay, now I thought I picked this one because I always like to pick some kind of a middle grade mystery, and I thought this was going to be a mystery story based on the title. It really wasn't, but it fit one of the library challenges that was to read a book that is written or published the year that I was born. And Harriet the Spy was published in 1964, which is when I was born. So I listened to this on audio. It's by Louise Fitzhugh, and I have to say this probably would have a hard time getting published in today's world, because you have a kid who is just very, very honest, unfiltered with her observations of people. You know, she describes physical characteristics and just how she perceives people, and she writes it all down in her book. And one day, it is she drops it, and her classmates scoop it up and start reading it, and they are just appalled and offended at everything she's been writing about them. And so she kind of learned a hard life lesson about, you know, just about the way you treat people and the things you should say and shouldn't say. And it kind of goes through the fact, you know, that because her nanny told her about, you know, you should always be honest, but, you know, always be honest with yourself. But, you know, she kind of was trying to teach her that, you know, you can't just be mean about, you know, talking to people and describing them and all that. That's not the exact words, but that's kind of the life lesson in that. But it's a cute story, and definitely you can tell it's from the 60s. It's not what you would read. I don't think you would find anything like this published in today's world, which you know, it can be bad, that can be good. You know, you want kids to be able to be honest, but they also need to learn that you don't want to hurt people. So anyway, I had mixed feelings about it. It was cute, and it was fun to read something that was from my era, really before my era, because this is from the year I was born, which means, you know, it's like 10 years older than, you know, than the books that came out when I was this age. So anyway, I read that, and it was fun. And then I did fulfill another challenge on March Mystery Madness challenge, and that was, I read my new book, and that is Defending Jacob by William Landay. This also counted on my library bingo as reading a book recommended by the librarians, because this was a book club pick from a few years back, and I never did read it then, and the librarian who facilitates our group, she's like, oh, you never read that? You should read that. That's good. So I counted this one for that. This was a good story. Very morally gray as far as the main character and the son. And I hear people, it's kind of a hot topic these days. People say, you know, oh, I really like books with morally gray characters. I don't especially care to read from morally gray characters. I like my characters to have really good high morals. I really do. That's why I read a lot of Christian fiction. That's why I enjoy it. But the story was very interesting, very compelling, very gripping, and makes you think, you know, what are your children capable of? And so I thought it was good. It didn't come out exactly like I thought, but it kind of did a little. So but then there's some twisty things at the end. And anyway, this is I listened to it on audio, and I should not have forgotten to write down who the narrators were. I think almost all of these were on audio. I'll put it in the description below. I listened to this on audio, and then Naked in Death was on audio. Harriet the Spy was on audio, and Sherlock Holmes was on audio. The only one I read in print was Death in Daytime. So those were the books that I finished this past week. Now going into going into next week, I'll show you a little bit about what I've already started and what I hope to read. But I also am happy to say that I have just about caught up with the Instagram challenges. I got way behind on the first week because I was getting ready for Book Bowl. So this week I did make sure that I went back and I caught up with most of the Instagram challenges. The only ones I haven't done yet are Saturday Shelfie and Sock Sunday, because I really wanted to do those on a Saturday and a Sunday. And so I'll have 2 Instagram challenges tomorrow. I'll have whatever tomorrow's is, which I think is Irish, and I've got some books for that. And then my Saturday Shelfie. I might do a Saturday Shelfie video, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then Sunday, I'll do the Sock Sunday picture. I've already taken one, and whatever the challenge is for that day. I can't even think now what it is. But anyway, so I've been really enjoying catching some of your Instagram challenges. I haven't had the luxury of the time to sit down and just search and go through every single one of them yet. That is one of my goals. I want to go through and just see them all. Everything that's hashtag March Mystery Madness. I want to do that. And I have seen some of them, but I'm excited to see all of them. And the same thing with videos. Before March started, I was going through and searching every day, and now there's just been quite a few that have come on, and I've watched some and haven't had time to comment on all of them, and it's just been so much fun. I do want to give a couple of shout-outs about some March Mystery Madness videos that I think you should check out, and I'll link them below. So I Read. I don't know her first name. I don't know if she ever has said her first name. She has been doing unwrappings. So she has a shelf with all mystery books. I think they are books that she took off of her shelves, and I think she's trying to read them all this month. That's really ambitious. But she has unwrapped a book every day. Now, the video I saw from this morning or from yesterday, she said that there had been a couple days when she didn't have a video, but she showed those books. The files got, what do you call that? Where, I don't know. She couldn't upload the videos. And so So she just showed the books and caught us up. So, but she has unwrapped a mystery or crime fiction book every day. And I think it's really cool because most of the books she's showing are ones I've never heard of. And it's really cool. So I think you should check that out. Also, Read Recall, and I can't think of her first name either. She did a really fun TBR video just this week. And she did it in quiz form. So she gave us clues to what the book was and gave us a few seconds to try to figure out what book she was talking about before she actually showed us the book. And I thought that was awesome. It's so fun. So some of the really neat ideas that are coming through for March Mystery Madness are just amazing. If you have not yet, I'm sure most of you have by now, but Catherine from Jayne Catherine on Books, her intro on all of her March Mystery Madness videos is so cool. Her husband did it for her, and it's just really neat. If you have not, for whatever reason, checked out one of her March Mystery Madness videos, then you definitely should. And one of my subscribers asked me about doing a giveaway. She has something that she wants to give away. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, and so I won't announce who or anything, but I'm still trying to figure out how I can work that out and how we'll do that. I didn't try to do a giveaway this year because I am not good at it. I'm just not good at getting things mailed. So, but Catherine is doing a giveaway, and I think 2 or 3 other hosts, March Mystery Madness hosts, are doing giveaways. So be sure that you check out all of them and don't miss out on any of that. Okay, so what I am going to be focusing on now this week that I've got the book bowl out of the way the first week. Now I've gotten my library challenges out of the way. And so the next books I'm going to focus on are just finishing the March Mystery Madness challenges. And then for the rest of the month, I'll just read whatever I want. And I have several mysteries here that I want to read. So to meet the challenges, I have already started these 2. I just started this today, Hooked on Murder by Betty Hechtman. This is the first in the Crochet Mystery series, and this is good so far. I mean, it jumps you in first page, someone finds a body. So there is no lull, there is no getting to know anybody at first. Boom, you are right in the middle of the action. So I am enjoying this so far. I'm maybe an hour and a half into it so far. Gunpowder Green, I started last week, but it was just going slower than this one, and I knew I couldn't get them both done. So I decided to finish this one instead. And so I will hope to get this one read this week. After I get done with Hooked on Murder, then I have Through the Grinder on audio on Hoopla. In fact, Hooked on Murder I'm listening through on Hoopla as well. Then I started In My Car Today, In the Woods by Tana French. This was our book club book that we talked about yesterday at book club, and I just couldn't participate in I did go, but, I just said, talk about all you want. I don't care. Don't worry about spoilers. Because really, they could say whatever they wanted, and I'm probably not going to remember anything that they talked about by the time I actually get to it. This looks like not a long book, really. It's actually over 400 pages, and on audio, it's like 20 hours or something. It doesn't seem like it would be that long, but I guess it's dense and thin pages. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I'm really looking forward to this J.A. Jance book. I think I thought my husband had taken this, but he didn't. So I did finally today, because the CD player in my kitchen went out. I just went to Walmart today and bought a new one. And so I'll be able to listen to some CDs in the house again, which is exciting. And then for my shelf challenge, I need to read Muslin Mystery. And then this is one of my opposite books. I have 4 different books I'm reading for opposite. So Skein of the Crime by Maggie Sefton is the opposite, because that's knitting. So I've also got, then the crochet one, and then my coffee and tea. So those are my opposite books. And that's probably all I'll get to. On Hoopla, I also have checked out the first Mr. Monk book, Mr. Monk Goes to the Firehouse. So if I can get that done this week before I think I have till the 21st before those borrows expire, and I'd have to borrow it again. So I also have Last Will and Testament already borrowed on Hoopla. It's by Molly McRae, and I need to read this because her and I are Facebook friends, so I need to read her book. Okay, so that is pretty much what I have read, been reading, gonna read, and all that. I see that my time is running out on my phone. My memory's almost full, so I gotta clean some stuff off my phone. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.